Welcome back to the show. Many thanks for staying with us. Now, we're told that over 70% of Ghanaians are Christians, or at least they go to church, where millions of us congregate at least twice every week. Now, the criticism has been that the values of Christianity are largely missing from society. You can talk of indiscipline, corruption, and then many people think that the church actually should be doing more to help the economy. But some have also argued that the church is a private entity and must be left as such. This is no Christian state, they say. I have in the studio Reverend Fred Digby, who is senior pastor at the Calvary Baptist Church. He's also the former general secretary of the Christian Council. Now, the church is celebrating their 50 years of existence here in Ghana, and we'll talk about that momentarily. But let's get on with the conversation about the relevance of the church to society. You're welcome, sir, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Thank
so
you
50 years, that must be exciting for you.
Well, it is. It's up and downs. You will look back and say, is it already 50 years? Of course, I wasn't there from the beginning, but one of the early ones. And I can't believe that it's 50.
50 years already?
Yeah.
How long have you been a part of this 50-year story?
I started in about 68, but by 75, I was there.
Wow.
Yes.
Since 1975?
Yes. And been on staff in Calvary since 1980.
So when I asked how it's 50 years, how it's been, the sigh, is that a sigh of relief, or is that just a significant sign of how difficult the journey has been? It's
been a very difficult and a challenging journey, and I would say, looking back now, if you are not cut out for it, if you are not called by God, if you don't have fellow feeling or compassion, you can't. 1980s. Some of us didn't see any good reason to be on church staff.
It's not like today where everybody, where there are flashy pastors and flashy cars. And
80, I mean, hunger, famine.
It wasn't attractive.
At that junction there, at the circle, you hear all kinds of stories, refugees from Nigeria, people who have come here, bushfires, yellow corn eating, and you name it. And hungry people, finding them water, food, shelter, clothing. And sometimes, I mean, I got more joy working to help those people than trying to go to the office, trying to read some law and get some cases ready for court the following day.
Did you always want to do this, or did it just come to you?
I didn't. I knew somewhere along the line. I had prayed to God. In one of those prayers you pray, God, you help me. Help me pass my exams, let me go to school, help me pass and go to law school. Whatever you give me, I'll use it to bless you or work for you. But I didn't think it would come soon after finishing law school.
So you finished your LLB and then you just went straight into full-time ministry?
LLB and then BL. And then I went into full-time ministry.
Wow.
Yes.
Do you think, would you say that it's been worth it?
It's been worth it. Because after all, whether it's law or religion or whatever I chose to do, later on I got to find that my profile, personality profile, is somebody who helps people, who comforts people. Maybe one side, you may say there's more money in that, but if you really want to help people, it's not about money. It's about putting smile on people's faces, giving them hope, showing them opportunities, helping them know their rights and fighting for their rights, empowering them. So it's been a very fulfilling journey, to say the least.
So I take it that these are the values, making the lives of others better, helping other people to have better lives, putting smiles on people's faces, bringing relief to people who are going through turmoil. So I take it that these are the values that have kept you. To what extent do you see the same values in Christians or in Christianity or in the church of today?
I think over the period of time, some of these values have waned. People now emphasize a lot more personal wealth, prosperity, getting to the top no matter how you get there. In fact, leaving the country, go and come back and flaunt whatever you have. And even the pastors, some of them have become tin gods. You worship them, not direct, not I mean, worshiping them as idols, but I mean, they are so adulated and they are out of reach of the ordinary person. And sometimes I just wonder where we're getting all of these things from. So some of these things have changed. But there have also been people who have gone to the grassroots. Churches now have the technology, they've gone to the grassroots, some have gone to the rural areas, and literally every corner of this country now, you have a church doing some good work. Hospitals and public health, water and sanitation, they're into all of these things.
But after you have done all of these things, is it wrong to flaunt if you have some, you bought a new Rolls Royce, or you bought a new car, you have this new, suit, and I know pastors love suits. You have this new suit. Is it wrong to flaunt it if you're still doing, charity? You're still giving to society?
Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. But what teaching are you giving people? What are your own values? What are you teaching? You see, and that's what I'm saying. People are taught that these are the external trappings of prosperity, God's blessing. And so sometimes you are not taught that there's a genuine way of making money, integrity. The end does not justify the means. There's something called humility. There's something called self-denial. There's something called self-gratification. So some of these values, which some of us learned, form the basis of what we call the Protestant work ethic that build countries and continents. We don't find this. So if we as leaders are not showing these qualities to our members or teaching it at the national level, you see people who all they want to do is grab Abenjuma, so they will milk the state, they take things that doesn't belong to them, but they think, well, once it puts food on my table, it's okay.
Do you think that the church essentially has failed the country? Because these people who are doing this Abenjuma, who are stealing the money, people who are involved in corruption for their own personal benefits, people who are, causing other people harm, they all will go to church on Sunday. Do you think that essentially the church has not been able to groom the people who fill up the society?
It will be difficult for me to agree with you. Not because I'm just a pastor. No, but you see, once upon a time, there was a survey done by the Ghana Integrity Initiative. And I give him credit for this. Malvi Wahab Adam, who is passed on, sat on that board. And part of the finding was that there were people who were able to say, no, we won't take bribe, we won't do this, we won't do that. And he thought we should go behind and find out why some people were able to say, no, we won't do this, we won't do this. And it was amazing. If you found their reasons, some of them because of their faith, their belief, they believe in judgment, they believe in this. But you see, that doesn't hit any headline. So there are some few people who, because of their values, hold on to certain things. Some who were denied promotion, some who resigned because they had core values. They had religious values that they stuck to. So yes, it is easy to say, yeah, nobody pays attention to this. But the research doesn't prove that everybody is corrupt. No.
But 70%, 70% of Ghanaians are, over 70% we are told of us are supposed to be Christians. And over the weekend, I had to visit my sister in school on the Cape Coast Road. And between Accra and Cape Coast, there is crazy traffic.
I tell you.
Crazy traffic. But one would say that if everybody will just be in line, then the traffic will move smoothly. But you have people who are using the other lane and at a risk of a head-on collision. And you have people, in fact, there were buses of a church. There were buses of a church, and we were in the line, and there were buses of a church that were just moving past us, and that was the lane for oncoming vehicles. And I said, look, 70% of us were told are in church. We should be doing the right things. Yeah,
Gifty, you see, you asked me the relationship between the church and the state. Now, this is where the rubber meets the road. The church is about morality. It's about what to do, what not to do. And as human beings, the problem is not knowing what to do, but whether we actually do it. That is why the state exists. The state has coercive power. Some of the countries where you get people falling in line, it's not because they are so pious, they are so religious, but they know when you are grabbed by the law, oh, you are going in.
Right.
I mean, you'll be there. They'll punish you for it. So sometimes when I was General Secretary, we had all these running around questions. Why hasn't the church done this? And I said, look, if somebody does something with somebody in private and you tell me about it, I can't send any policeman to go and arrest this person. Who am I? And but if you are caught, like you said, that driver who is driving the, excuse me, the wrong side of the road, he's caught and arrested. Or some film, Jesus Universal Trinity Church driver, he's driving. The sense of shame and going to prison or being locked will cause them not to do it.
But they've also said that the same church, the same elders and the leaders of the church will go to the police officer who goes to the same church to say, oh, is a part of us. He's a part of us, so please allow him to go free.
That is the type of revolution, sorry I have to use that term, that we all need as individuals if we want our society to be a better society for all of us. I can give you a very frightening experience I had. I went to Libya, those days of Colonel Gaddafi. We were invited as religious leaders. And before we went, clear instructions. Do not enter this country with alcohol. Okay, so we went. I know I had my bottle of something. Then I got there.
What's something?
I'm coming. Not accommodation. No.
Okay.
So when my luggage passed through the scanner, it started beeping. And I said, oh my God, something is wrong here. Now, the religious delegation that had come to meet me, they saw what it was, and all of them left. Then the security guards came and said, you have something in the bottle. And I said, which bottle? They showed the bottle. And I said, oh, my goodness, that's mouthwash. They said, are you sure? They took the mouthwash from the bag, put the camera on him, and that was the first time I saw that there was about 5%.
There's alcohol in mouthwash.
5% thing in the mouthwash.
Yeah.
I was stunned. I never realized it. Two things I learned. I was so embarrassed. But what even scared me was if I were really carrying a potato or a duka or vodka, those people who came to receive me, they all flew away. They left me to my fate.
Oh, they left you. When you said they went away, they left you because there was something in your...
Because I was told not to do it, and I was doing it. Nobody's going to bail you out. Right. You see, so that's what I'm saying, that when we do those things, when we flaunt the law, when we march to the pastors, to the whoever is in our church, go and beg for me, go and do this, it's my nephew, your daughters, that's why our society gets into this rut. And we'll go on and on and on until until there's law and order.
Okay.
Once we don't, we'll get into the pitch like this. So we are not more corrupt than all these advanced countries. But they know when you don't file your taxes, when you do the wrong thing, when you are caught, when you are cheating this. Well, I can tell stories about that as a chairman of Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition. Some of the courses we went through. When you are caught, some of the countries will punish you up to the point of taking away your social security. And
in Asian countries, in places like China, you could be killed.
You could lose your life.
Easily. You could easily be killed. So then the point, if I understand you right, the point you're making is that the church is there to bring up people in a moral, put people in a certain moral line. Is there to give people the foundations of morality,
right,
and how to coexist. But then it is up to the state to make sure that they're actually doing that.
That's an unfortunate thing to say, but that is part of what it is like. You see, so if I may quote a scripture that we can quote it out of context. When Jesus said, give unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar, unto God what belongs to God. Caesar is for law and order. There was a Roman colony. So whether he was Jesus or not, pay tax, he was bound to pay the tax. Okay, so as a Jew, you have to pay something. But as a citizen of Rome, you have to pay what ought to be. So that collaboration is what can make for a more progressive. Very few, through self-discipline, would be able to abide by the laws.
Okay.
But some of those people who abide by the laws, unfortunately, are at the mercy of lawbreakers, because they will be called names. And
because on Saturday we were in traffic for so many hours, and people were just moving past us, heading oncoming vehicles.
As if you had nothing to do. You were just there to sit in the traffic and watch them drive past you.
So this conversation that has come up about the church being taxed, people believe that the church is making so much money.
Yeah.
Which is why, you know, the point that you made about pastors, you know, flaunting their wealth and everything. Some have said, look, there's nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with it. You need to let people see that in Christ you can have fun. In Christ, you can still have the access to. But people have said that, look, this is not what the life that Christ lived. And so, if you want to be Christian, you shouldn't be doing that. But it has attracted a different kind of conversation. People are saying that there's so much money there. So since there's so much money there, and we have issues with our economy, and many countries do, let's begin to get some money from the church.
Well, that's a conversation we can keep on discussing until the cows come home. One, I've heard the Commissioner, GRA, say, that's not the law. And it is not the law. Okay. Two, if churches do business, they must be taxed. Three, the laws of this country permit the Revenue Authority to invite anybody who is flaunting their wealth. What's the source of your wealth? Have you paid your taxes? So the issue is not what I drive, but have I earned it? Have I paid my taxes? Once I've earned it, if I choose this lifestyle, well, that's your lifestyle. I may not like it, but if that's your lifestyle, then you must be sure that whatever you are supposed to pay, you've paid. You paid. And you see, I've said this so many for that sometimes it is the bad ones, the few rich ones who get the publicity. Most pastors, evangelists, in fact, they end up emptying their pockets to give to the poor, the needy, and they don't even get any publicity. But the few who, through whatever means, get the money and flaunt it around, they are the ones who get the publicity. So there are more and more poor, or if I say poor, my colleagues don't say poor, who are just
needy people,
needy pastors themselves, who are paid 50 cedis a month, 100 cedis a month. Marginally, they're just surviving, just trying to serve God in the rural areas there, in the trenches over there, trying to help people because they feel the call of God is on their lives.
Yeah, interesting. So we'll talk briefly about the program that you have for the 50th anniversary before we wrap up. But is there a way you think that the church in Ghana can help the state deal with its economic issues?
Well, I think, as I said, you see, the church has a set of teachings. The church basically is a teaching and instructional body. And I was saying, if you look at some of when we studied history about the revolution, industrial revolution, the green revolution, it was through the teaching of the church. God has promised to bless the work of your hand. You have to work before God blesses you. God says, I'll bless the fruit you must plant, and God will bless your fruit. So there are principles of hard work, productivity, even the parable of the foolish virgins and the wise virgins and the talent. Invest, and then to come back to you. So it is not an utopian type of thing that you teach people, that you must work, God will bless them. Whatever you do it as unto the Lord. So this is what, if the state imbibed it, if the church teaches it, we must require our people to be productive, not just sit down and be lazy, go to work 3-4 hours and expect to be paid. It's not on. It is not on. Go to an office late, your eyes are red. Why? Because you went and prayed all night, all day. Well, pray all night, then stay and eat all night. But if you go to work, you must work and earn a living.
Right. Okay. Let's talk about Calvary Baptist Church. You're celebrating your 50th anniversary in Ghana. Do you think that you've been very relevant to the society?
We have tried.
Development?
Oh, we have. I mean, we have.
You have tried.
At least we are still at the circle.
Right. So in circle, what do you think is one thing that you can hold on to and say, and beat your chest and say, this is what, because of Christ's, God's calling on our lives, this is the sort of change, this is the sort of improvement we have brought to this area?
Well, when some of us entered that place, the church was known as the English-speaking Baptist Church of Accra. So we're like some Brunis who had landed in that community. Today, we have people there who speak Ghana, Ewe, French, and all what have you. But in that community, there's a reading club. People are taught how to read and write, how to use facilities. They are literally people who have grown up in that community, who have learned to read and write from Calvary Baptist Church, who are now doctors, engineers, who are doing well, and they can directly attribute it to the free education, the library programs, the reading programs that the church has given to them.
Okay.
You name any disaster around the circle, we are there. The disaster, we go ahead, help the community. Our place is used for counseling. We take offering, help the communities there. It looks like one disaster after the other. And we've been in that terrain,
okay,
working with them since the 80s. Any disaster,
okay,
we're there to offer our help.
So 50 years, tell us, how are you commemorating this?
It's been a year-long, full of activities. But maybe for the sake of the few minutes we have left, we have just a few more things. Okay. There's a public lecture on the 5th and 6th of December. Okay. The title is The Pulpit in Politics. By Honorable Alex Segbefia, who is a member of Calvary Baptist Church. Okay. His mother was, and he is, and the father was.
You're adding that explanation, so we don't say we don't ask whether it's an NDC
all
church.
All right, yeah. Oh no, I've gone through that so many times. Okay. People just hear my name, and because they hear the name is an neighbor name, they're NDC. So if I say something NDC, if I say another one, it's MPP. So okay. I wear all the hats anyway. Okay. So anyway. So 5th and 6th December? 5th and 6th December. So Alex will speak on the pulpit in politics. And then there'll be Emmanuel Wilson Jr. speaking on the church and social revolution. Okay. The following day, Thursday, December 6th, will be a topic impacting national politics as a Christian business person. Interesting. That's what you were asking me about by Mrs. Kate Kote Papafio. And then on the second talk is Pews on Fire, how we can engage society and be relevant to our community before the whistle blows for us to go to heaven. Interesting. Are you expecting people to come? Is this open to the public? Everything we do there is open door all the time, no tickets. I mean, just walk in. Okay. And you get good music, good food, good fun, good friends. Yeah. Safe company. And probably if you are single, you get who knows? Who knows? I mean, that may be the lucky day for you. That may be the lucky day for you. When you land the right rib, you know. Okay. So I've just been having this very interesting. Unfortunately, it's been
is it
short. Time already?
Yes, it is.
Oh, no. I mean, I can't believe it.
It is time already, unfortunately for us. Reverend Fred Degbe, he's a former General Secretary of the Christian Council and also Senior Pastor at the Calvary Baptist Church, which is celebrating its 50th anniversary. We've been talking about the state and the church. He's spoken about the relevance of the state to the church. But on the 5th and the 6th of December, they're inviting you to their church, which is just here. 6 p.m. Just here at Circle, yes. At the Kwame Nkrumah Circle. The pulpit and politics, very interesting. They're talking about lots of topics that has to do with the church and the state, if you like. So you want to join them for that conversation. But I'll give you a very final word, sir.
Well, I thank you for the opportunity. Ghana is a lovely country, and I just think that every opportunity we have as individuals and as a church, we must do what we can to build Ghana. Nobody will build Ghana for us, and even as a church, we want to emphasize that wherever we are, wherever we find ourselves, like the Bible says, whatever you do, do it to the glory of God, whether as individuals, as a church. So come together we serve God and build Ghana. You know,
it feels like it's been short, but that's because the conversation has been interesting. It hasn't been short at all.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay. And next time you want to top up, you can invite me.
We certainly will do, because it's been a very interesting conversation. That said, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Reverend Fred Degbe, the former General Secretary of the Christian Council, also Senior Pastor, Calvary Baptist Church, and they are inviting you.